guidance, we'll take the lead. On the field, we're unstoppable, we're never beat. In the stands, the crowd's alive, cheering for UConn. They won't give up the fight from the first pitch to the final out. We're Husky Hardball, we've got the power. Husky Hardball the call, let's hear it for the team. Under Coach Schumann, we're not gonna dream. With Steve Cully's guidance, we'll take the lead. On the field, we're unstoppable, we're never beat.
Which one's better? That one or?
No, it's whispers. Oh, the mariachi
In the Husky
song. No,
Huddle.
not the mariachi song.
No, I think Whispers of the Seed is still number one.
Whispers of the Seed is the best. Yeah, Whispers of the Seed is the best. But yeah, we have not been winning, regardless of Steve Cully or Coach Schumann. We had a rough tournament in the desert over the weekend. The Desert Invitational. That's where they were in Scottsdale,
Arizona, right?
And
yeah.
I talked to Chris the Citus, and he said that they had to fly commercial there, and like they had 2 layovers. It was not a easy trip, and it's evident by how they played and all this. They lost all 3 games, and lost 3 games bad. Oh, we got to do that. Okay, there we go. I apologize, Joe. I sent the link early. For some reason, it didn't go through.
You sent me some YouTube link.
No, I sent one.
No,
earlier.
you did. No, you did.
You
You sent me a YouTube link.
Yeah, I saw that. But I sent one earlier. I apologize, and I don't know why it doesn't go through.
Well,
I had to do it.
It's
I had
fine.
to do it in my computer. But yeah, we were just talking how the team did not have the best trip. I know I talked to Chris the Citus, and they had a rough travel over there to Scottsdale. They had to fly commercial. They had a couple layovers.
Well, they always fly commercial, Steve. They never fly charter.
Oh, he said they chartered him home. So
Well, maybe because there's MLB, but they never fly. They never fly charter unless it's the NCAA's.
Oh, okay. All right. I misunderstood him. But yeah, it was just awful, he said, when they started off against Nebraska and they got smoked 12-2 on opening day in this tournament. And I mean, they played better competition than they normally do, right? With Kansas State, Nebraska, and then good old Air Force.
Yeah. I would say so.
They normally play.
And you know, they didn't charter home. They went to Arizona State. You got your information a little mixed up here.
Oh, okay. All right. He told me they chartered them back, but they didn't charter them there. Maybe I did.
No, I don't think they chartered them from Scottsdale to Tucson to Tempe.
Right.
I don't think that was. Yeah.
He was telling me about the flights and everything.
Well, the flight out might have been a pain in the ass, but they stay out there. They're playing 5 more games this week.
I know it was just brutal, and the expectations for the team were definitely very high.
Arizona State, Arizona.
Yeah, they're staying out. They're staying out in Arizona for a week. This
they have
home thing is. You misunderstood. I'm sure you misunderstood what Chris said.
Yeah, I must have. But what were your thoughts on the opening day loss, 12-2 to Nebraska?
Well, we can
And
sum up three up pretty easily. When you don't get pitching, you're not going to win. And they
yeah,
ended up giving up 33 runs in 3 games, even in college baseball, which can sometimes be all offense and not much pitching. You're not going to win under those circumstances.
well, we remember last year they were scoring an absurd amount of points or runs during
They had some
game.
pitching issues last year sometimes too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they did. Yeah, that's probably one of the reasons they didn't get to the NCAA is when they basically got screwed by the NCAA last year.
Definitely, they should have been
Yeah.
in.
And then the tournament chairman sounded like a buffoon on ESPN when he was trying to explain away why UConn didn't get in. It was an embarrassing performance.
It absolutely was. The only pitching that was decent was Caden Suchi, who went 6 innings, 2 runs against Kansas State. But other than that,
Right, and then the bullpen, the roof
gave
fell
up
in on the bullpen. So
gave up 5 runs. Yeah, the bullpen gave up 5 runs in that game. And then the guy
Right.
who always is great is Tyler Minnick. I mean,
I love Tyler Minnick. Yeah, he's a force.
Rocks. What year is Tyler Minnick? Because
I thought he was a sophomore last year, but I'll double
he's
check.
definitely going to be a drafted guy whenever his.
Oh, no question, no question.
He is. I mean,
But I remember Rispoli was good too. Rispoli was good, but he struggled the first game. He left 3 runners on base. They had 9 strikeouts overall, and Tyler, he was 2 for 4. He had an RBI.
He's a junior, by the way, Shu.
Oh, so this year could he come out this year then? Right?
He could get drafted this year. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a sophomore last year. But yeah, the pitching was brutal against Nebraska. I mean, Charlie West only went 3 2/3 with 6 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, and 4 walks. And he struck out 6 and he hit 2 batters. That's quite impressive for 3 2/3. And then they went to Charlie Hale. He gave up another 2 runs. Hamburger gave up 3 runs. And then Garrett Garbinski, wow, 5 runs. So yeah, they just had 0 pitching. And what do you do in that situation? I mean, do you just keep going to your bench?
Well, I think what happened on Friday, I think Garbinski kind of wore it. I think it was a closer game. He's not lasting an inning. If he goes in, he gives up hits right away. But in a game like that, look, the first couple of weeks of the season, you're just trying to get guys work. You're trying to get guys work outside. There should be, I don't think anybody's panicking over an 0-3 start. This week is going to be tough with the 4 games in Arizona and the one against Arizona State. Those teams are always good.
Absolutely.
And then they
much better.
I mean, you got to look at the competition.
It's the South and the West in baseball. They play they play year round. They're going to get recruits that are going to be, usually from those areas that are year round guys. They have a huge advantage, especially early on.
Right, exactly. And as good as the RZA complex is for baseball and softball and all the sports, it doesn't duplicate going outside and practicing outside. And that's what all these teams. I'm not sure how much Nebraska practiced outside.
Right.
But this week will be a decided disadvantage against the 2 Arizona teams. So you just try to get better. You get your rips. You try to get guys comfortable in new positions. I mean, Jim's made some moves, moving Delana to third base, moving Minnick to center field. So you're just trying to get your reps and see how that works out. But I'm not, I don't think anybody should, be ready to jump off the ship just because they lost 3 games in Scottsdale. I mean, it was a great experience. They played at a major league facility, major league spring training facility. And they didn't go their way. So be it.
Joe,
they're also have new, like the transfer from Maine is going to be really good, Menzel, and he's excellent at Maine, and he had a decent summer this year, and he did pretty well. So, but he's new, you know what I mean? So they're new, they're like he's one of the
they're
guys
still
that
gelling. Yeah.
Well, he brought in 20-something players.
Yeah.
yeah,
He
that's what I'm
brought in
saying.
20
So he's
something
got
players.
guys that have to gel.
Yeah, it's
And
going to take time to everybody to find their roles. I mean, you don't do that practicing in the Shankman Center and taking BP in the in RZA. It just doesn't work
right,
that way.
right. Is
I
that
want
is I've noticed in baseball that's like that's one of the sleeper transfer sports, meaning like people don't realize baseball might be crazier with transferring than even football or basketball as far as the number of guys that I saw the LSU coach talk about it on
Right.
how much.
Yeah, I was surprised to see the roster.
Well, this is as many as Jim's ever brought in.
Right.
This
Others
is
have been doing it for a while that way.
right. This is the most that they've brought in, and it's all built. It's all meant to get back to the NCAA tournament after getting hosed last year.
Right. Right. That makes a ton of sense.
15 transfers, five freshmen. That's a lot of new players.
Wow, that is a lot.
Plus the roster limits keep going down. The NCAA keeps
they're cutting them.
putting their thumb on hockey and baseball, and football can have 192 kids, and basketball can have there's schools that have 18 on the bench. Of course, if you're St. John's and Providence, you need that many since you get guys kicked out of games. But
That's so true.
So yeah, baseball.
That was a good. I forgot all about that. That's right.
That was on YouTube. That was funny.
Well, no, it wasn't funny.
No, it wasn't funny. No,
it
I'm
wasn't
laughing.
the farthest thing from funny.
I'm laughing that Joe brought it up.
It's ridiculous that is happening now in college basketball.
Well, for the Providence kid to only get 3 games is criminal. He should get 5 games at least. The Big East is so soft. It's indisciplined.
He got 3 games. That's all they gave him.
So all he got was 3 games.
Wow. I wanted to ask because this is something the Worcester Red Sox do, and I didn't know if we do this or not, and I didn't know why teams have started doing it. They'll start a pitcher, and he'll pitch 1 inning or 2 innings, and then they'll pull him, and then they'll go to somebody else. And I don't know
if they've been doing it in the major leagues for the last 3 or 4 years. It's called.
They have.
Okay. Oh yeah, absolutely. The Dodgers won the 24 World Series. Using Ben Kasperius, the kid from UConn, as an opener in a couple of those World Series games. Pitches an inning or 2 innings, and then they get into the meat of the bullpen. The Blue Jays did that successfully last year. So
that's a strategy that's been adopted.
It's more of a strategy in the minors and the majors than it is in college. In college, maybe it's a midweek strategy, but when you get to the conference games, you want your best players. You want your best players out there for your best pitchers as long as you can. So.
Now, I mean, I know that you were at one of the events for the baseball team. What were your thoughts on? I mean, did you get a chance to talk to any of the new players?
No. It was mainly MC the panel discussion with 4 of our guys who have gone on into the majors, 3 as players, and Pete Fatsi, who's the pitching coach, the hitting coach for the Red Sox. So,
okay. And then we obviously we lost to Kansas State. That was a little bit closer, but still the same outcome. But I mean,
well, probably even more disappointing because they had a lead in that game and they frittered it away,
and they blew it
in the eighth inning. The bullpen just couldn't hold on. And again, it's all, I mean, these kind of things are gonna take place at this point of the season. if you look at, I haven't looked, but I'm sure most of the Big East teams uh, that played this weekend, if they played that same type of competition that UConn didn't fare very well.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like the level of competition that they're seeing now compared to what they're going to see in the Big East. How big of a difference would you say it is?
Well, I think this week it's a big difference. I'm not sure last week. I know I'm not familiar with Nebraska. The
Right.
way they propped them up on the MLB Network telecast, it sounded like the second coming of the '61 Yankees. But Air Force is okay. Kansas State, I guess, is okay.
Yeah.
Arizona and Arizona State, that's pretty good.
They're legit.
They're legitimate teams.
Right.
So, and the Big East is good. It has its moments in baseball. It's not like it is in women's basketball. I put it that way. But it's just again, I find it hard to get all in a knot because of that. For now, look, none of those teams, to be honest with you, were ranked in the in the D1 baseball top 25. Arizona was, and they fell out. So probably, I'm sure there's a little bit of disappointment today as they make their way to Tempe as far as not being able to get better results because these games, unless you win the conference tournament, you got to build up a good non-conference record in order to be considered for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it's a lot different. And they're playing Arizona State Tuesday, I believe.
Yep,
That's their
Tuesday
game.
night.
Okay, because I thought he said they're out here all week, correct?
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's crazy. What would you say about the lineup? I mean, is it too early to make
it's much too early to make any
adjustments?
Rispoli went 0 for 8 in 2 games. That's not going to continue. Delano only got 5 at bats in 2 games. Or this was not updated. I'm sorry. The stats that are on the website hadn't been updated yet because I'm sure it was a late night. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't read too much into any of this so far. Yeah, it's just a matter of getting out and getting reps.
But you would they had Pudvar pitch the last one. I like him. But you would say the pitching right now is the biggest obstacle for them.
So just off the beginning of the season, they have to figure out who's going to be their 3 guys when they get to conference play. That's the most important thing. They got a while before that happens. They don't play their first conference game until what is it here? March 27th against Xavier. That's at home. That's at Elliott. 3 games against Xavier, who's always good in the conference. They have a great program. So you got time to figure it out. Xavier's picked 3rd, Creighton 2nd. Those 2 teams are always good. St. John's is always competitive. And baseball, you have a couple good pitchers, you can win a weekend series.
Yeah, because they pitch a lot more frequently. If you remember Dave last year, they pitched their top guys quite often.
And they pitch the weekends. That's what it is. It's not if they pitch once a weekend. Your number 1 guy goes on Friday. Your number 2 guy goes on Saturday. Your number 3 guy goes on Sunday.
So and then you can really live with the 3-man rotation.
Oh, absolutely. That's what everybody does. You need a 4th guy. You want your next best guy to pitch your midweek to start in one of your midweek games because when you get to postseason, you need 4 starting pitchers.
Right. Exactly. That makes a lot more sense. But I was surprised at the run output, but with all the new guys that came in, Is there anyone that stands out to you?
I haven't. I'll be honest with you. I haven't looked at it close enough yet. I know. Coach is pretty excited about the kids who have come in. He said they
Right.
fit into the culture right away, which is good. So no, I think it'll take a couple of weeks. I mean, I wouldn't even use this week as the
A measuring stick. Yeah.
as a, exactly as a measuring stick. I think you got to wait and see what how these kids fit in. Because again, it's like any other school, it's like any other sport. Baseball, you're rolling the dice as far as
Yeah. 'Cause
newcomers are concerned, right?
they don't get
I-
exhibition games, preseason games, anything like that. They're just right. They have to start right out.
one place where UConn's been able to do pretty well is and they've had a tradition of this. I don't know if they have anybody this year, but they've been very good in getting guys from D3 schools who have
Who moved up?
yeah, who've moved up and done great. Like uh one of the pitchers they brought in, this Lessing kid, he went to Middlebury. He was a fourth team All American last year in Division 3, pitching in the NESCAC with Middlebury, and I'm sure they're counting on it. You're not bringing these guys in
Wow.
just for the sake to fill your roster in. The D3 guys important. They got kid who didn't pitch last year, pitched 2 years at Brown. I think the pitching staff is what they want to really where they're really looking to rebuild. They brought a kid in who was the Northeast 10 pitcher of the year at Southern New Hampshire University, two-time all NET. So I mean, you're bringing these kids in and you have them, you talk to them, you scout them out, and you hope they can make the adjustment to Division I baseball.
Yeah, exactly. And allowing double-digit runs in 3 games, that's something that can't continue. But they're still not scoring enough runs, you would say. The hitting definitely has to improve, and it should.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think I understand the enthusiasm for doing the show to start the season off, but you can't make any
Baseball
judgments of what we say. Yeah, baseball's such a long season. It's not like football. Right, Shoe's right. It's not like football where
it's February.
It's not like football where every game is treated like life or death. Even basketball's not that bad. Although I guess we have an issue now with people not coming to the men's basketball games. That appears to be a bit of a problem.
Well,
I saw his comments. I saw his comments on that. Your buddy's comments. So yeah, that was.
Well, I mean, it's the pricing. They say it's the pricing. They're pricing.
You have to understand the Connecticut fans, okay, that come to the XL Center. It's different than when you're on Gample's campus. When you're on campus with Gamble, it's a different clientele.
But this was at Gamble, Shoe.
Oh, this game was at Gamble?
Saturday was at Gamble in the student section.
Because he was talking about the XL Center a lot.
This was Saturday. And I couldn't repeat the game.
The Georgetown. You're talking about the Georgetown game, right?
Yeah.
Ed Cooley, the Georgetown coach, said something to Danny in the handshake line.
Okay.
And I'm sure that fired him up even more. And he went a little Baba Bluey in the post game comment.
Oh yeah. I did not.
I saw when he came on. Yeah.
So much about the XL Center. I actually watched the game, but I guess I didn't pay attention that it was actually in the XL because I was shocked how Georgetown. That the end of the game, they've got to clean up the endings of their games. By the way, the endings of their games.
That's what Joe said. The biggest thing.
It's been a mess, like 5 or 6. Well, because I'm not on the pod as much because it's always for whatever reason scheduled when I do my prospect podcast, but the endings of the games are like I don't know if you could use this word anymore, but this terms anymore. But it's a Chinese fire drill every time.
I don't think you could use that word, but
I not use that anymore, Joe. Is that no longer?
I would think that's not. I don't think that's the way to go, Shu.
I got to tell you
It's just chaotic. It's
I
just
got to
chaotic.
tell you a funny story before I go. I got to jump off, but I got to tell you this is funny. When I was coaching, I was young. I was like in my, I would say mid-30s. I had taken over his program. That was terrible. The guy who was there, like a stalwart there, like the strength and conditioning coach, been there forever. He was a great guy, and I was a young guy, and I was kind of like modern with like how you talk to kids and stuff. And I could tell you he was from like, I mean, I would say he's probably about 5 or 6 years older than you, Joe. Okay. And he's
He's
probably
close to 80. That shit.
yeah, he's close to 80. But when he was with me, this was 2008 to 2014. So I guess he was in his 60s, maybe. But he was old school. I mean, old school. And I came there, and we're in a summer workout, and we had a lot of Korean kids in the school, and he would every time. I know you can't say this, but I was so horrified. But I realized they loved him so much. He was such a great guy. But he would yell when they'd be pulling the sleds. He would yell, "Give him Korean power!" You know what I mean? And I was standing there as a young head coach, right? As a young head coach, and I was like, Coach Pedicini, I don't know if you could say that. Like, I don't know if you can say that anymore. You know what I mean? He said to me, "Don't worry, the kids love it." And what was amazing? He was who he was. You know what I mean? The kids absolutely loved him. I mean, when I mean absolutely loved him, it was one of those things that like sometimes the old school is hard for people to understand. But players knew how much he loved them, and he was one of the big.
Absolutely, it's a different look. I think in that area, I think what you say in practice and what goes on in practice is a closed society. I think when you get in the public eye like we are with this, and anybody who does this, then it's a different story.
Yeah, no doubt.
Then you've got to be more sensitive to it. But if you're a coach and you've got you're trying to exhort your kids, and it is what what I'm not ready to jump on.
It's college sports.
Exactly.
I get it.
There's also a meshing of times that happens, right?
Yeah.
So like you have younger guys that are more into the are a certain way, and older guys that are meshing within the times. But I have to say, one of the lessons I learned is that those players loved him. He was a great strength and conditioning coach, and they loved him. They would live to go into his weight room. He's one of the guys that helped rebuild the program for me. But yeah, no, the end of their games. So like fire drill without any sort of ethnic name associated with it is what it looks like at the end of the games.
Just chaos.
I don't know what the issue is. Because every other part of the game looks good, right? Like, I mean, they're making crazy 3 points late in the game. It looks like they put the team away, and then inbounding is a problem. Like, literally inbounding.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's been a problem, which makes you a little bit confused. I'll also say this while you're still on before you jump off. We didn't talk about this, but you were right. Fignano got an invite to the combine.
Yep.
He did. Yes.
One of 15 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it doesn't mean he's going to get drafted, but it gives him a better chance.
There's only 7 or 8 get drafted. Well, maybe
more.
Maybe 10 if in a good year.
Yeah, it's just a poor quarterback class, so probably not.
Oh, it's a tribute to what he did. I mean, I know it's annoying, the whole end of the year process part of it, but I mean, listen, he's really good, and I have to say, like,
he's a legend.
There's going to be a few UConn guys that are going to get an opportunity.
I know easy on the legend stuff, Steve.
I'm being sarcastic, Joe. Believe me, I'm being sarcastic.
No, I know. But I mean, good for him.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if playing in the bowl game would have curtailed his preparation
Yeah, he had to prepare for that East-West
But you know,
Shrine.
as we've said, he got somebody put something in his ear. I think we know one of the people, and he bought it hook, line, and sinker, and you know, he basically ran out on his team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that it's unfortunate because it slightly mars what he would have. I think he would have been a legend.
It's
There's no
how he
doubt.
would. It's how he would be. He'll be
I mean, in
remembered.
years from now, they won't even remember. But like,
No,
other,
exactly,
you know,
exactly.
no one will even remember. I mean, guys, we might, but
If some of us are still here, yeah.
yeah. Hey, listen, just keep going in for your oil changes, Joe. That's what you got to
I
keep
know.
going in for. You know,
I
get your
know.
oil change, and we can prop you up at 100. You know what I mean on the show.
Yeah, that'd be entertaining.
I got
That'd,
to run. I'll let you guys finish. So,
all right,
Joe, it's
shoot.
always great seeing your face, bud. I'll
You
see you
too,
later.
bro. I like the glasses. Look, you look like a professor.
Oh, that's one way of putting it. I'll see you guys
Yeah,
later.
exactly. All right, brother. Bye-bye.
All right, Joe. I wanted to ask just a couple questions. Do
Yes.
you see this? I mean, we've been a national level baseball program for years. Do you see this season as a reset year or more of a reload, rebuild year?
Oh,
Or
I
is it
no,
too
I
early
think
to
no.
say?
He didn't bring in 15 transfers to reset. He built it to go for it, and
Yeah.
he made it quite clear at the baseball dinner on Thursday night that or a week ago Thursday night that he's watched the NCAA chairman run the program down and when he explained why they didn't make the tournament almost every day. And he made the team watch it when they came back. And he wants that to stick with him.
As it
You know,
should.
and for a quiet, humble guy, Jim can get kind of fiery. And I think that will play to their advantage as we move forward.
And I know you mentioned some of the other Big East teams, but what would you say the realistic ceiling is for this team once, you know, they get going and get out of the early season non-conference schedule?
Oh, I think they can win the Big East,
Yeah.
tournament, and get to the NCAA tournament. And then when you get to the NCAA tournament, depends where you go and who's in your 14 pod. But I don't have any question that this team can, unless something goes horribly wrong. And it really, yeah. I mean, last year wasn't an awful year. They didn't get to the
No.
NCAA's, but
No.
last year wasn't an awful year. But I don't see any reason why we shouldn't think that they have a chance to get back to the NCAA's and take their shot.
And for fans, I mean, realistically, you would say they should have some patience with this new roster.
Oh, I think they do. I think you know what, because the way the baseball season here is in the Northeast, Steve. I think it's almost out of sight, out of mind. You know, they're playing
Oh,
out
yeah.
on the West Coast, and they're playing in the South, and they're playing in all these tournaments. I think people will, you know, the true fans will show up at Elliott when the Huskies get there, and by that time, I guarantee you, they will have things sorted out.
And the pitching staff we talked about, I mean, it's still too early, but do you have a long-term concern with the pitching staff?
I wouldn't call it a long-term concern. I want to see who steps up and becomes and becomes one of the aces. I mean, you mentioned a kid earlier. You know, Pudvar is very good.
I remember last year, yeah.
He's going to be a. I think he's going to be a solid contributor. Maybe does he move up from the number 3 slot? Maybe he moves up in a number 1 or number 2. I don't know. You know, the kid who started on against Kansas State, Sushi, he pitched really well. He struck out 9 in 6 innings. So, you know, he'll have an ability to be the to be the number 2 star or even number 1, depending on how he on how things fan out. I know the kid who they started against Nebraska
Yeah.
and didn't pitch great. They have high hopes for Charlie West, and and he's a returning guy. So Josh McDonald, a great pitching coach, and Jimmy know what he can do. So no, I just think it's a matter. It's like with major league teams. You got to build the pitching depth in the quote unquote preseason, and then you have that when you get into the conference play.
Jackson Marshall, do you see him as possibly being a potential All Big East player?
Well, I mean, I think they brought him in for that
Yeah.
purpose. I mean, had a great year in the Northeast 10 with Southern New Hampshire University.
Right.
Played in a good prep school program. Hit 337, had 15 dingers, 56 RBIs. How that translates to Division One, we won't know. But I certainly think that him and Delana and Rispoli and Minnick are all Connor Lane, all potential Big East Conference candidates.
Yeah, Delana especially. For Jim Penders, I mean, his teams traditionally, what would you say they do well? And
fundamentally solid.
Fundamentals. Right.
Will take the extra base on you when they can. Have hit for power. Versatile in the pitching staff. Guys could start or relieve. Guys who aren't the top three. And I think it's just the bottom line is that they're very fundamentally solid, very well respected in the conference by the opposing coaches for the way they play the game, and I think that's important nowadays.
And the team, especially with a lot of new guys, do you feel offensively they're built more to maybe manufacture runs when in the past they've had more power hitting and relied too heavily on that?
Oh no, I don't think so. College baseball is a game where a lot of runs are scored, and you need, if you can get 3 runs with 1 swing of the bat instead of 3 runs with 5 swings of the bat, you'll take that every day of the week.
Yeah, and they've had that in the past, and I mean it's a new roster. It's a young team as well. Do you think they are going to have issues with pressing after starting off?
No. That's the last thing in the world that they'll do. I mean, they'll feel an increased urgency to play well, but I don't think they'll be pressing. No, not after 3 games.
And then one of the questions that was asked, who do you see on the roster who could emerge as possibly the closer?
Ooh, that's a good question. That I think we're going to have to
wait.
That's going to be a time thing and see what. And I mean, we haven't had the chance to see in the first 3 games that opportunity, but I think I'm looking through the roster here. I don't see any name. They've had Brady Afton was so solid lockdown at the end of games and stuff. I don't know, Steve. You know what? Next Monday, I think we'll have a better idea after 5 games out. After 5 games in the desert, I think we'll have a much better idea where that stands.
And I'm just asking this because I have no idea. How do you pronounce the pitcher Husky?
Which one is that?
He was there he pitched the Nebraska game. Husky. I don't know how you say his last name. When they lost 12-2 to Nebraska.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at trying to find the box.
Figure out how to pronounce it. Because
West, Hale, Hamburger, and Garbinski. Those were the pitchers against Nebraska.
Oh, okay. It said Hooksy loses on opening day.
Yeah, Hooksy is the baseball team's nickname.
Okay. All right, because I was confused about that. Why is that the nickname?
Because that's the C on
the
front
C
of
on
the
that.
baseball jerseys is the hook C. Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense because they kept saying hook C, and I was looking around for hook C, and
Yeah.
I didn't get that. And where, I mean, the biggest issue with the starting rotation struggling to settle in early on, is it just experience? Is it just getting the time
No, it's
outside
just getting
on the
reps. It's
mound?
just pitching. It's just pitching in competition. That's all it is. It's not. It's not anything to be.
Yeah.
To lose sleep over. You know, I'm sure they'll line, unless somebody's hurt, they'll line up the same three guys to pitch Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Arizona, and they'll try to piece together Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday at Arizona State, and Wednesday at Thursday at Arizona in the first game of the weekend.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I mean,
I wouldn't worry too much.
well, the sky's not falling. The sky's
No,
not
hardly,
falling.
hardly.
Everything will work out fine. Because this was a monster trip for them. They are playing great competition. They're getting some good games all over the place. And I think, like you said, it's definitely going to prepare them and help them when they're in the Big East and for Big East play. And that is what is most important, because like you said, they need a resume or winning the conference outright to get in the tournament, because it's very difficult for the Big East to get anyone else in, right?
Normally it's hard for them to be more than a one bid league, which is unfortunate, but you know, they've gotten two bids, sometimes three. I mean, a lot of it depends on what everybody else does. And again, like football, you know, baseball is tilted towards the schools from the SEC and the ACC.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
I mean, do you think though we'll see some improvement this week?
I hope. I would say Jim will pull his hair out, but that ship has sailed like it has for me. I think there'd be some concern if they struggle in Arizona.
Right. All right. Well, we'll see what happens this week. We'll see what happens on Tuesday. It was a rough start, but nothing to fret about. This is baseball.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
It was Valentine's Day. I mean, that's so early to start. So they have a long way to go, long season. So for the man himself, the icon, legendary voice of the Huskies, the best of the best, Joe D, I'm Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. This has been your Husky Hardball. And remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back at life.